welcome to the kitchen at the Blue OK. Today we're making our famous triple green manna pesto. We call it triple green manna pesto because we use three kinds of greens to make it. It's basil, parsley, and cilantro. You're also going to use a little bit of lemon juice, olive oil. We like to use pine nuts and walnuts, some bell pepper, a little bit of nutritional yeast for a little extra flavor, a little sea salt, and some garlic, which is optional whether or not you want to add the garlic. And really this recipe isn't an exact recipe. We're giving you an exact one, but you can play with it, see if you like a little more basil in yours, a little more cilantro. Also, during the summertime, you can use what you have an abundance of in your garden or what you can find at the farmer's market. You can use whatever nuts you like. Sometimes we'll add pistachio. Sometimes we'll change it up a little bit, or cashew, make it creamier. So really, this is just a base recipe, and you can make it however you like it. But you can start here. And we use this recipe on raw pizzas with raw raviolis. We use it for crackers as a dip, and sometimes we just put it right on top of our salad and eat it plain. So we'll get started. You're going to love this one. I like to add my liquids first, of course. Same holds true for the Cuisinart. So I'm going to use the juice of 1½ lemons, and then I'm going to add my olive oil. And I like to start with about ½ a cup, and then I just add more to the blender as I need to. I usually put some of my salt in the beginning to kind of get the olive oil, get the flavor coming out of the olive oil. And I like to put my garlic in first because it helps it to get chopped up if it's in there right away. And then I'm just going to start adding my greens and pulsing, and I'll be putting nuts in as well. So sometimes, depending on the size of your Cuisinart or your food processor, you might have to pulse it a few times and then add more, pulse it a few times and add more. We're using an equal part of all these greens, and then I'm going to go ahead and pour in about half of the nuts, some of the bell pepper, which the bell pepper is also actually, I consider it a liquid because when you blend it up, it really liquefies. So I start with about half of everything, and then I just kind of start adding. So you can go ahead and start pulsing. And these new ones, you've got to get the lock all the way down. I like to use blenders without the lids on, but you can't do that with the Cuisinart. So start pulsing. And you're really just trying to get everything evenly chopped up. And then you're going to go ahead and add probably close to the rest of your ingredients about this time. So I'd go ahead and put in the rest of the salt so it's going to get well incorporated. I'm going to put the rest of my nuts in there. I really like the walnut. You don't want to use too much of it because the walnut can be a little bitter, but the texture of it's really nice. It gives the pesto a texture of almost the texture you get from the hard, dry Parmesan cheese. And since we're making this raw, we're not using the Parmesan cheese, but it gives you a really nice texture this way. So I'm going to add the rest of everything here. Get the nutritional yeast in at this point, and that'll get that flavor well mixed in. And the nutritional yeast also serves that function of adding a little bit of the flavor of what you would get from Parmesan cheese. It's not exactly the same, but close. And then you're going to go ahead and pulse again. And sometimes I like to just get it started and then really let it blend for a while. And if you notice that anything isn't mixing in, you can take a spatula and kind of scrape around the outside of it. So just so you can see how that works, if you're ever having trouble getting it to mix up all the way, I'll just show you. You can kind of scoop along the outside, press your ingredients down toward the blade a little bit, and eventually, if there's enough liquid in, it'll start to pull your ingredients down a little bit more. So at this point, I'm going to add the rest of my olive oil just to make sure that there's plenty of that liquid in there. And you can kind of play with this recipe and find out the consistency that you like. Some people like their pesto very, very smooth and creamy. Other people like their pesto a little chunkier. So this is the consistency that I like mine. A little bit of fresh herbs still in there that you can see and taste, but also well blended, well incorporated. But if you wanted it a little creamier, I'll just show you. What you would do is keep blending, and you'll find the texture a little bit more like this. If you've done it for longer, it's going to be very ground up, very well blended, very creamy. That makes a great sauce. The other way we like to serve this pesto is just to spread right onto a raw cracker These are some of our raw crackers, another recipe that you can find on the website. And you can just dip them right in. They make a great snack, and the pesto comes out just delicious. We like ours with a lot of lemon. You can play with that and see if you want it with a little less or a little more. And please leave your questions or comments for me right here on the website. And hope you enjoy this recipe. See you soon. Bon appetit.